Hello, and welcome to Life with Libby Joy. I'm your host, Libby Joy, and we're going on a journey together to explore womanhood and find the joy in the things that happen to us each and every day. I will be sharing with you some information and some inspiration on how to enjoy this journey of life. We will have people to come on and share about their journeys, their successes, and their failures, and to explain how they keep joy in their lives. These podcasts will go from talking about menopause to single life, motherhood, to how do women have it all. We will talk about all of these issues each and every week. So before we begin our main thing, we usually will go with a hot topic. Our hot topic of today is to dye or not to dye our hair. I am in a process of having wisdom come to my hair life. And in this new journey that I have, I'm locking my hair. And so in the beginning processes of the lock, I had my hair without dye. And so the gray just came and it just filled in my top of my head. I'm showing you, you're not watching the top of my head. And there was this gray patch. You see a little bit of it right there. I'm covering it up with my hair. And I decided not to dye my hair and to go natural after 35 years of having chemical in my hair. Because of my health, I decided it was best for me to make sure my mind didn't have any chemicals attached to it, because the illness that I do deal with has to do with my brain. So I want to make sure I kept my brain clear. So I said no more chemicals. And then I said maybe I shouldn't do perm or dyes either. However, after a few weeks, actually it was a couple of months, I watched that skunk patch in my head. You heard me right. It looked like a skunk patch, a line straight down the middle of my head, full of gray hair, and I had to cover it again. I was taking pictures actually for this podcast, and I said, I don't want my gray in my hair. So my hairdresser put a tint in my hair, which is a little less harsh than dye, but I still wasn't sure if that's something I really wanted to do. So that was my question. I was like, well, should I dye my hair or not dye my hair? And then I thought about why we dye our hair. And so really that's my question to you today. Why do we dye our hair? Why do we turn our hair different colors? Is it because of fashion? Usually I would think so. But when it comes to wisdom coming into your hair or that gray coming into your hair, should we keep covering it up or should we let it just be free? I had an aunt who has now passed away. She decided that gray was not something she ever wanted to see in her hair. So her hair was always red, and it was red until the day she died. And I learned very early in life that it was okay to dye my hair. I didn't have to have gray in my hair. But then my mom, on the other end, she waited till she was about a little bit over 65 and she decided not to dye her hair anymore. And she has the most beautiful gray hair. And so I like gray hair on other people. But I did want to know if anybody had a thought about, should we still dye our hair? Should we keep the gray away just to make sure we look younger or newer or fresher? Or is this just a personal choice? Some people like gray, some people don't. So you can let me know. You can go to my email address, lifewithlibbyjoy@gmail.com, and let me know. Tell me, should I stay gray or should I continue to dye my hair? And then why? Why do you dye your hair? Or why don't you dye your hair? Let me know. Give me some feedback, and I would love to hear from you. Well, that was a hot topic today. I know, dyeing hair, not dyeing hair. That's something I thought was great just to have a conversation about. But this is one of my favorite things to talk about today. My theme today, or my main theme, is this: finding your purpose. If I were to say I was an expert in anything, it was searching for purpose, finding purpose, living out my purpose, and helping others find their purpose and live out their purpose. And so today I want just to give you some information about purpose. I'm just going to define it on my own. My definition for purpose is doing the things in life that bring you joy. Speaking of that definition, I decided to call it your purpose and your passion, the connections that it makes. You decide what is your purpose based off of your passions, based off of what brings you joy. There goes my question again. What brings your heart joy? And when you've decided what brings your heart joy and you've decided the things that you're passionate about in life, you've hit your purpose. And now you'll have to figure out how to walk in your purpose. Um, what value do I add to the world is a big question. And I'm going to start with myself. My purpose is found in teaching and preaching. My love for learning and teaching comes from my fundamental belief that education is the key to success. I believe that knowledge is power and that your voice is necessary in society. Working with elementary children, I have found a joy to teach them and to show them and to share with them and help them grow and develop. They have passion and they have purpose already. And so instead of me pouring in, I'm actually pulling out all of the things that they already have inside of them. So that's why I love to teach. I love to teach. I love to encourage people. And these are the reasons why I decided to do podcasting. I would love to help you find your purpose in life, to be passionate about that, and to enjoy your journey of life. So these are the things that give me or bring me joy. And so today I want just to walk you through some processes of how you can find your purpose if you haven't. If you have, that's great. Please share this with somebody who seems like they're trying to figure it out and don't know which way to go. Share this podcast with them to let them know there is purpose for their life and you can find your purpose if you do some very simple things. So let's begin on the simple things. I'm a teacher, so I have to not just be philosophical, I have to be practical. How do I find purpose in my life? First thought. These are the questions that I would ask people if they were in a coaching session. These are what they call purposeful questions for coaches. So I gave you a good amount of the questions that I would ask. I did not give you all of them. So if you want all of the whole questionnaire I have, you can again email me at lifewithlibbyjoy@gmail.com. I will send you this whole list of questions if you would like to see the long list. But I gave you some questions to begin with. So we're going to start and we're going to do these in little parts. So the first part is talking about your strengths. 3 questions I have for your strengths. What 3 strengths can you think of right away? What's the first things you think of? Not a hesitation, not a reflection, pondering, the first things you think of. I'll give you an example. My first thoughts, speaking, teaching, encouraging. It's the first thing I think of when people ask me, what are your 3 strengths? What are your 3 strengths? If you need to write it down, take a moment. What are your 3 strengths? Then the second question, what are you proud of in your life? And it has a part B. What do you like about yourself? So what are you proud of in your life and what do you like about yourself? Again, since I am the guinea pig here, I'm going to tell you mine. What am I proud of in my life? I'm proud of going back to school and becoming an elementary school teacher. I am proud of that. I'm also proud of having 2 wonderful children and a great husband and a family. I am proud of that. Those are some of the things that I'm proud of. There are a lot more things you can be proud of. But the question then asks you more personal. What do you like about yourself? What do you like about yourself? It could be a physical characteristic. I like my smile. It could be a deeper thought of what emotion or what you have done in your life that you really enjoy. But what did you really like about yourself? I'm a kind person. I'm an honest person. I'm really a great person to be around. I'm funny. I like to make people laugh and I have great jokes. Whatever your thing is about yourself, write it down. And the next question is, what do you enjoy or love doing? This is the most important question at this moment when we talk about passion. Because after you've talked about what you like about yourself and what you enjoy doing, you start learning what you could use these things to do. So the question again is, what do you enjoy or love doing? They usually ask this question, what would you do if no one paid you? You could do it all day long, even for free. That's the thing I'm talking about. Now, it doesn't mean you don't want to get paid for what you love to do, but what could you do without payment? I teach. I almost feel like they don't pay me, but they do give me a little bit of a salary. But if they didn't pay me and I could teach for free, I would teach for free. Now, I am going to put that in parentheses and pause because I'm not saying don't give teachers money because teachers need money. But the concept is we don't teach for money, but we do thank you for the money that you give us as we teach. What are the things in your life like that? If you gave me no money, I would do it in a heartbeat. Those are the things that you love. So find that and write that down. Okay, there's a lot of questions. Gave you 3 big questions. I have more questions for you today. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. This is another question. What others think? And these are the people that you love or you find value in or you give permission to speak into your life. This is not what other people just around you say, because people around you can say all kind of things. But I'm talking about the people in your group, in your circle. What do they say about you? So let me be very specific about that. This is my first question. What do you get complimented on? What could be the strengths that lie underneath? So what compliments are you given? I was told that I was patient. It made me stop. Wow. Thank you. What can I do with that patience? What would your partner or favorite person in the world say are your top 3 strengths? So you've already listed your top 3 strengths, but maybe you ask the person that's closest to you, what are my top 3 strengths? I did that on another podcast when I was speaking with my friend, and I asked her about me as a friend. I asked her to give me her feedback, what she thought about me. Those things are very helpful because to see it from another perspective just really does add some depth and clarity to what you think about yourself. So that's another question. What do your favorite people say about you? What do they think are your top 3 strengths? And this question is, what would your family say your strengths are? So this is you to go deeper and consider each family member in turn. So this is not just your favorite person. These are all your family members, kind of the people that you choose, and asking them to get a little deeper with that question to go a little bit beyond. So that's the concept of what others think about you. So we talked about how you see yourself. The next part was how others see you. And this last one is my last part. This talks about the times you were at your best. So these are some questions just to ask you. Specifically, these 3 are in different categories. Some of these talk about subjects in school. So if you haven't been in school for a while, you can skip that. But this first question says, what were your favorite subjects or classes at school? What did you bring to the classes? I like that. What did you bring to class? Were you the person who always had questions? Did you have conversation? Were you the one who, when the teacher said something, you had to disagree if you felt like her perspective was incorrect? You were very strong with your passionate response to the questions. I told the students when I started school and teaching that math was not my favorite subject in school. However, I love to teach math. I found math fascinating as a teacher. But as a student, I didn't really care for math. I don't know why. Sometimes you like things at certain periods of time. But so you have to just decide and think about all these different things that happen. I digress with the stories about what I tell my children. The next one, when you you felt most energized? When have you felt most energized? What were you doing? There's a saying that people who are really find passion within themselves, the things that they do gives them energy. The things that they love gives them energy. They can do other things, but those things drain them out. And so the things that drain you aren't the things that you love or passionate about. The things that add energy to you or give you energy in the moment are the things that you love. So if you're speaking and you love to be in front of people and talk to people, that's great. If you're in a quiet place and you love to listen and read books and that gives you energy, then that's great. So whatever gives you that energy, whatever excites you, whatever puts the twinkles in your eye, whatever makes you smile when you're doing it, those are the things you should be writing down. What are you doing? So just kind of keep an eye out for what you're doing that excites you in a day and then write it down. I'm suggesting that all these things be written down in a journal or a notebook, someplace on your phone for you to remind yourself as you're going through this purpose looking or seeking after purpose you can do. The last question I have, and this is the last, what have you created and brought into the world from childhood to now? Anything you're proud of? Basically, what have you done? Your purpose in life, what have you done so far that you're proud of? This is the first step, because if you're living as you're speaking, listening to me, you have more steps to do in that process. But so far, up until this point, what have you done that you are proud of? That you can say, I'm very proud of this in my life. And my pastor used to say, it's not bragging, it's facts. So these are facts. You're not bragging, you're telling facts. What have you done that you're proud of? What have you done that you're proud of? It's a lot of questions. I'm going to take a breath. I do have more, but not today. If you're interested in receiving, again, the full purposeful questions that I gave you just a partial list of today, I have way more questions. You can email me, lifewithlibbyjoy@gmail.com, and I will make sure I send you a copy of that. If you are having a coaching session or you have a coach, they can walk you through these specific questions. If you do not have a coach, this is really helpful for you because these are the questions that coaches ask. You have to sit there and you have to think about your answers and your responses. And your coaches usually guide you through that process. So today I'm acting as a semi-coach, right? A coach from a distance. Just letting you know that if you walk yourself through these questions and more, it'll help just give you an understanding of what you are passionate about, what you find joy in your life. And spending time in a journal book to write these questions down, to reflect on this, will help you in your life journey. Self-reflection, I will say it again, self-reflection is so important as you are moving through this purposeful life. Self-reflection is so important to enjoy the journey that is your life. It means you may have to take some time somewhere. If you're a mother of young children, you may have to spend some time in a bathroom a little longer with the door closed and a journal book out. That used to be my quiet place when I had little babies, or wherever you can find a moment. But take moments to really reflect and think about what brings me joy. What's my passion? What do I want to pursue with my life? How can I make meaning from my life? That was a lot. Again, I'm taking a breath. That was a lot. But I thank you for listening. I just give you a few takeaways from today's lesson. Finding purpose in life brings joy, and reflection is key to discovering your talents and passions. Experience builds confidence, and purposeful people prosper in life. So that's the fourth episode of Life with Libby Joy. I'm Libby Joy. Thank you for joining into the conversation today. Our next episode will be a continuation of this purposeful life, and I'll be talking about the action steps after you find out what you're great at or what you enjoy. Now what do you do? And that now what do you do question is one of the questions that we need to answer, because just having a purposeful thought is not the greatness that is you. having a purposeful life is what you're going after. So we're going to talk about that next time. Again, thank you for tuning in. Tune in next Tuesday at 8 p.m. for another session of Life with Libby Joy. Remember to enjoy the journey of life.